Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all going? Welcome to SATAC. Today we have inSky versus Snake. Two teams I'm very excited to watch. We have inSky, last year's winners, versus Snake, a group of newcomers that were only formed just over 2 weeks ago. We start, as we must, with a little bit of a dice roll, so let me just make sure that this is all working. Cool, we have the full set of maps, including Caucasus and Persian Gulf. 3, 2, 1. Number 7, which is Lavan versus Fujara. Alright, I'll send that information over. We also have had Snake say that they would like to go heads. So Snake will be picking the starting side. Alright, while everything gets set up, let's say hello. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. AlphaGator, thank you very much for the resubscription for 11 months. Today we'll be seeing some of the best face-off. I'm excited. Today we'll be fighting over the Persian Gulf. We have some very recognizable and veteran names showing up along with some newcomers. Cannot wait to see what inSky has to show for us. Does it ever get disorienting flying sideways like that, or is it just sliding with style? You know, it's a matter of perspective, I think, more than anything else. How have you guys been going? Have you been having a good weekend? I hope that everything is going smoothly for you all and you're having lots and lots of fun watching SATAC, relaxing, hanging out, eating some good food, I hope, and taking good care of yourselves and one another. What did you think of yesterday's matchup? Did you think that everything went smoothly? We had a wonderful performance, I think, by both teams. All right. Waiting for your pizza. All right, Snake gets to pick the starting team. Hopefully everyone made it in. And we are all good. Have we got everything connected up like it should be? Looks like it. Excellent. Snake versus G66 in ACC yesterday, so it should be an interesting battle. I have heard that they have put on a good show for themselves, so we'll have to see what they bring out for us. All right, looks like everything is springing to life. This is one of the interesting matchups. Just you wait until you see this map. All right. We are fighting in the Persian Gulf today, with both teams starting equidistant away from the starting circle, over which we see a battle largely over water. Snake's liveries are very nice. In fact, let's go and have a look. But inSky is OP, I know. Look at these liveries from Snake Squadron. They have said that these are temporary and that they're working on a version 2 at the moment. But I love it when a team shows up with a little bit of flair in the sunny desert. They've got a few different versions of it all, including pink, black, and blue. inSky is currently in the midst of rebranding their team skins, so they will be flying under their default liveries today. I asked if they would like to use the 2023 skins. They said that's fine. We will stick to default, so Snake Squadron is taking care of all of the flair today. You gotta love it. Snake skin for Snake Squadron. And they was telling me that the nationalities of each of their players is plastered over the side of their planes. A couple of recognizable countries over here. So, it looks like a multinational squadron from all over the world. Meanwhile, inSky, as you guys may well know, are Chinese. And the previous winners of SATAC. All right, start up, line up, report when ready. Awesome. So, nothing flashy happening with inSky today, but that's okay. As the competition progresses, we can expect that they will get a little bit of fancy flair going on. Let's have a look at the planes that each team is electing to bring. For inSky, it's a mixture of Western aircraft. We have an F-18, 3 F-16s, an F-15E. Oh, there we go. Finally, it's about time we saw one of these instead of the C models. And an ordinary C. So we have every flavor of F-15 taken to the skies today. In terms of the names you may recognize, we have Shirasaki Sugumi, Wu-Wei, Yanyu, HTWJ123, XG, and MX Guardian representing inSky today. All names that I think we've all seen before. And we also have on the Snake team, Harmless, Mufat, Thrash, Alves, Light, and Yupo. I'm willing to bet that Yupo is our is our Finnish pilot here. That's a Finnish name if I've ever seen one. So, the newcomers have had their first competitive match just yesterday, so they'll be feeling fresh and ready to take on anything. I spoke to them just briefly before they got stuck in and loaded into the server today, and they said that they're feeling confident. They didn't realize F5 is allowed. Oh, F5 view is enabled. I'll have to ask AlphaGator. We'll see. You called him Guapo yesterday. Thought it might be Spanish. Guapo. I will get in contact with our server organizers just to make sure that everything's working the way it should be. So hopefully we don't need to do a server restart, but we'll see how things go. All of this server organization is out of my hands, so in the meantime we'll just talk amongst ourselves. This is the first of two matches that we have going on today. The second being with the 8th Escadrille, or rather the 8th Esquadron de Combat, and Lock-on Greece Competitive. So we have plenty of things to look forward to. And let me just grab a bit more information. There we go. So who's here supporting inSky and who's here supporting the Snakes? Zalathiel supporting both. Retrowave Bandit says Tunnel Snakes rule. He's got the AIM-9 wingtip compact. Looks like the administration team is just discussing amongst themselves. Are any of these guys your friends? Are we seeing some people that you're familiar with in the Snake Squadron? Oh, look at them. They're even lining up in color coordinated. Oh, I love this. Snake is F-16CM Central. What's the other team? Well, let's have a look. F-16s all across the board for the Snakes. Let's go have a look at inSky. inSky typically flies a mixture of all kinds of Western aircraft. So we have an F-18 for inSky. Just a reminder that their liveries are still in progress. Oh, look at this loadout. Oh, geez. Now that is a scrunkly loadout there. 2 AIM 120s on one wing pylon. 2 AIM 9Ms on another wing pylon. And Sparrows on the belly. With a... Oh, no, it's so asymmetrical. It's gross. I hate it. Oh, God. Ew. No, let's look somewhere else. Meanwhile, the F-15 is looking chubby. Okay, are you guys okay to fly with this setting for on round, and we will fix it for the restart? Snake's fine with it. Asymmetry is a no-no for you. Hello, Mika. Hello, chat. Apologies for just being a bit quiet. I'm currently talking in about 8 different chats. Okay. Everyone's fine with it. No worries. Perfect. Okay, we are looking good. Thank you for understanding. They are working in the background. Cool. All right, now we can get going. Hello, DB Sphere. Hello, Mika. Hello, Septic Tank. Roland. They're maximizing their loadouts within the rules. Yeah, I know. These double ugly loadouts on the F-18s, they always give me a little bit of a conniption, but that's okay. But never mind. At least the F-16's looking sensible. And the F-15s are rolling along. Here we have an interesting look at the differences between the F-15, the F-15C, looking lithe and agile. Just have a look at the sides of the intakes over here, if you're interested in the differences between the two planes. And then we head over here to the F-15E, and you can see this large bulbous conformal fuel tank on the side of the aircraft, providing additional fuel at a minimum of drag. So it's interesting that given the choice of flying either the F-15C or the F-15E, they elect to take one of each. And you can hear those engine intakes making that characteristic rack, 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 rack noise that they do. Okay, both teams are reporting ready. So let's go and have a look. Both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And fights on as the first round of inSky versus Snake begins. We see the F-18 and the F-16 taking off. A little bit of an acceleration difference there. It'll be an interesting fight. Let's have a look at the terrain that they'll be dealing with over here. With only a handful of islands to deal with, we are looking at a lot of flat, open ocean. So you could expect some extremely long-range fighting. In fact, in last year's SATAC, we had an AIM-120C launch that took place and climbed all the way up to 100,000 feet before coming crashing down back to Earth and scoring a kill. And I believe that that holds one of the records for the longest range kills within SATAC at, I think, 97 nautical miles. We have the Snakes beginning their takeoff as we have the pink ones are the last ones to go. That reflective Snake Squadron livery looking absolutely fantastic. I mean, you just have to appreciate a team with a bit of style, but oh no! The F-16 in their logo has AIM-9Ms on the wingtips. Oh, jeez. We're going to have to talk to them about that later. All right, with both teams beginning to form up, let's go have a look at what we're dealing with. TAC View is going to give you another glimpse of the sort of terrain we're dealing with. These islands in the middle are just about as flat as a pancake, so unlike the Caucasus Mountains, there is not much to hide behind down here. You're going to have to use your capacity for notching to provide any kind of defense from long-range AIM-120 strikes. With that being said, it often happens in these sorts of fights that the battle takes place, everyone trades all of their Fox 3s, and then it gets in close. So we'll see how it goes. There is no rule about the AIM-9s on the wingtips at all. The only thing is that it is technically, very, very technically, the way that you are meant to put it, so it reduces wingtip flutter between, and over the course of the lifespan of an F-16, it slightly improves the durability of the wingtip. However, within DCS, it does not matter too much at all. We're seeing a tactic that we see quite often. F-15s going to the far south and to the far north. Shirogami Tsugumi is in the F-15E, one of the most recently released DCS World modules, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. With plenty of fuel to keep those burners burning, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this F-15 passing 20, 30, 40,000 feet, and then looking to launch those AIM-120s at extreme range. The current separation between the teams is 124 nautical miles, as our lead Snakes are cutting a course straight into the battle zone. We can see the picturesque surrounds of the United Arab Emirates passing underneath Burj Khalifa, distantly visible. And blue takes control of the battle area. So, within the Snakes, let's test our flag knowledge. We have Turkey, Finland, Germany, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and this one, which I think is Cuba. It's a beautiful sunny day outside. Let's check the weather. 15 degrees positive, so it's not boiling hot up here. Everyone's planes will be performing just about how you'd expect. Who knows? We'll see if we can figure out where that flag's from. The two lead snakes passing 40,000 feet. Meanwhile, the central group of inSky is happily travelling at 25,000 feet for the two lead planes, the F-18 and the F-16 leading the way. And then below them, we have Yanyu and HTWJ hovering comfortably at around 14,000 feet. Not entirely sure what the tactic's going to be here, but we'll see. Infamously, the F-18's capacity to reach out and launch those AIM-120s at maximum range can be limited occasionally. Though with that being said, I think it's a downside that can potentially be overstated sometimes. Meanwhile, we have the F-15s progressing around the outskirts of the circle at a rate of knots. Current separation between the teams is 69.5 nautical miles, with Harmless and Mufat leading the way. Wing tanks are dropped, and they have got their ECM pods. The importance of the ECM on planes like the F-16 is that it prevents lofting shots being made by AIM-120Cs. Of course, we saw yesterday that that can be a double-edged sword, with occasionally these ECM pods providing an opportunity for home on jam. I reckon it won't be long until we see our first missile shots. We see Wu Wei and XG are beginning to separate out. Looks like Snake is powering towards the southern group, with Shirosaki Tsugumi at a lofty 45,000 feet, almost looking like it's peeling off for a missile shot. Electing not to take any Sparrows and only inboard AIM-9Ms, clearly there is some decision-making being made about the added drag of those weapons. Current separation between the two is 40 nautical miles, so we are well and truly getting within engagement ranges, but no one quite rifling anything off just yet. Shirogami Tsugumi for launching the first AIM-120C at an absolute rate of knots towards this southern group. Meanwhile, Thrash and Alves begin moving it towards MX Guardian. Only one missile out, but two launches simultaneously from the Snake group, who are well aware of the fact that the AIM-120 is probably coming in towards them. One is heading towards Wu Wei, and one is heading towards Shirogami Tsugumi. This AIM-120C passing 75,000 feet and beginning its downward descent. SpaceX, eat your heart out, because this AIM-120C is re-entering from orbit. Wu Wei, well aware of the fact that there is an AIM-120C coming, begins the notch. Let's have a close look. Mufat and Harmless still staying at relatively high altitudes, with the AIM-120C that went orbital is now coming down with quite a lot of speed. It'll be a question of whether or not it can be notched. Starting to bleed speed down in the thicker air down here. I reckon that one probably won't find its mark. We have an AIM-120C launched towards Alves, which is also coming down. Alves better get moving quickly, because this is coming in fast. Alves goes down. The first loss, with Snake losing one of their aircraft. This AIM-120C, with very little energy left, looks like it's just flying formation now. Alves managed to get an AIM-120C off before exploding, leaving Thrash all by their lonesome, looking for revenge. No missiles fired yet, but I reckon that'll change any moment now. And no ECM pod for Thrash, so there is some clear decision-making that's been made. Potentially going defensive, having had realised that His friends are not with him. Two AIM-120Cs coming off from MX Guardian, launched towards the southern group, Harmless and Mufat, who are hovering at around 30,000 feet. Mufat is going to have to be aware that they are potentially in the danger zone as these AIM-120Cs with speed come in. Can it be notched? No dice. Mufat goes down, and we have late as well. With the missile coming in, inSky showing that they know the engagement ranges of their missiles. We have Harmless, UFO, and Thrash, the last remaining for Snake. AIM-120Cs being traded at around about 10 nautical miles between MX Guardian and Harmless. Harmless needing to go defensive with some alacrity. Missiles coming in. That AIM-120C having had lost track. The AIM-120C sent up towards MX Guardian, not having the speed to quite reach out and touch them just yet. I said to Snake when we were talking about the prospect of this match coming down that no matter what happens, I think this is going to be an education. And sure enough, it has been. Thrash, not having had fired any of the AIM-120Cs, it's going to be necessary for Snake to pull themselves together. They are not out of this fight yet, with Yupo heading up to 26,000 feet and beginning to re-enter the grinder. Current separation is 23 nautical miles, with Yanyu at 6.8 thousand feet. Burning towards them, having had not even dropped their tanks and a full load of missiles. It's time for them to get engaged. I reckon we'll see a weapon come off the wing any moment now. Another launch from Yopo towards the northern group in AIM-120C, potentially heading towards HTWJ. Let's go have a look at what is possible with notching an AIM-120C from Harmless coming in towards Yanyu. This one is just falling out of the sky, no factor. Another AIM-120C from Thrash towards HTWJ. They can change their loadouts to their heart's content, but they can't change their planes. HTWJ being forced to turn cold against the onslaught of missiles coming from Yopo and Thrash, with XG re-engaging the fight with all of his AIM-120Cs. And we have a missile off the rail heading in the direction of Thrash, who is turning cold, probably well aware that there is a spicy stick heading towards him as we speak. Shirogami Tsugumi still at 40,000 feet, launches an AIM-120 off the rails that is probably just going to go absolutely stratospheric, passing 50,000 feet and heading in. Looks like it's heading for Yopo, so be careful. This missile is traveling at light speed. It's going to take prayer to evade this AIM-120. But he gets away with it. Nice moves, Yopo. AIM-120s fired in response. As the missile flies in close formation, but is destined for the water. AIM-120C heading for, hopefully not Yanyu, because it's well and truly within engagement range. Looks like it's heading up high for Shirogami Tsugumi. One more AIM-120C launched by Thrash. Not sure who that's heading toward, potentially Wu-Wei. An off-ball sight AIM-120C shot heading in towards Thrash, who's going to have to get their notch on to try and evade this one. Turning ice cold against that missile, which is flying in formation with him, but has lost track. Good dodge. All right. Everyone's missile reserves starting to get a little bit low. HTWJ re-engaging with all four AMRAAMs still on board. With Yopo and Thrash getting close, another off-ball sight shot almost simultaneously between Yopo and HTWJ. This AIM-120C coming in very quickly towards Yopo. Let's see if we can see another excellent dodge as Yopo has 2 missiles heading in towards him. Or her. Missiles deadly close, and a lack of countermeasures is going to make things even harder. Missiles in the sky, that radar warning receiver going absolutely wild. Thrash passing directly underneath the very, very high F-15C with an AIM-120C launch at quite close range, but it looks like it's heading towards XG, the cold target, as opposed to anyone else. Yopo is now just low speed flying to get away from these missiles. Radar warning receiver probably screaming in agony at the moment. This AIM-120C getting lost in the ground clutter, misses by inches. Thrash gets away with it unbelievably. Is this one going up? No, it's MX Guardian that is committing at 44,000 feet, but doesn't have the AIM-120s to take advantage of it. Going to have to dive down low to hopefully deal with Thrash, who couldn't be lower at the moment. Thrash is well and truly in the mix at the moment with only heat seekers to show for it, well within visual range of his opponent, and with AIM-120Cs coming in hot and fast. This is a test of ability. The gauntlet is thrown down. An AIM-9M launched at extraordinary range from high altitude towards Yopo, but it doesn't look like it has anything resembling track. Yopo launches an AIM-9M, says, "You got heat seekers, I got heat seekers. Let's see whose heat can be sought the best." Meanwhile, Harmless, realizing that HTWJ and Wu Wei are not going to let them get away, both planes burning at a rate of knots. Harmless, with only heat seekers left, is going as cold as ice. Recommitting into this fight is going to be hard, as both planes are right next to each other. Is that AIM-120C going to connect? I don't think so. They are within visual range. This is going to be a merge, I think. Pre-flaring in anticipation of heat seekers making it into the air. Missile in the air, and it connects. The pre-flare does no service, as Yopo is the last one standing, having had launched another AIM-9M at Shirogami Tsugami. But no dice. Yopo is starting to look like he's out of options and ejects. First round goes to inSky, assuming they can make it back. Well. A trial by fire, the gauntlet laid down and the response received. Snake giving inSky a run for their money. I think that match was closer than the scoreline may lead you to believe. With my apologies, and let's have a look at the TAC view. That was a real hairball by any definition. Okay. So, the opening shots were traded between MX Guardian and the Northern Group. So we had Thrash and Alves heading in, as F-15 from MX Guardian was going in with intent. A manual loft added into that missile and started heading up to high altitude. Alves and Thrash dropping their tanks, I think, realizing now that they are being engaged already. Is this AIM-120C currently traveling at Mach 3.8 and just getting higher and higher, 73,000 feet. And that's as high as it got. And it proceeds to get track. Alves almost seeming as if they didn't believe it were possible to fire a missile at that kind of range. Gets one AIM-120 away, but the loft is just not enough and gets taken out. Let's have a look at what's happening with the rest of the gang. Mufat and Harmless launching their AIM-120Cs relatively simultaneously. One AIM-120C heading out towards Sugumi, and one heading in towards Wuwei. And this is where it all comes down. This is the skill, this is the importance of flying in a BVR environment, is knowing how much speed these missiles have, how quickly they lose it, and how hard you have to turn to be able to get away. Meanwhile, the AIM-120Cs are just being launched one way or the other. Flares and chaff can help you with missiles, but they only give you a chance of getting the notch to work. And we see that Alves's AIM-120C towards MX Guardian, with an F-15 heading cold at that speed, it's just not going to go anywhere. Thrash is proceeding, but realizing that his wingman is down, turns cold. The right decision, I think, because if you had progressed further, you would have ran smack bang into HTWJ and XG, who were setting up the trap, but Thrash does not fall for it. Light and Yopo launch AIM-120Cs in synchronization. For a new team, having them be able to coordinate their missile shots quite so well is impressive. Light, I think, getting a little bit unlucky here with the AIM-120C launched towards them, just not quite falling for the notch, because the maneuvering was good, but the missile just, it was out for blood. BVR does require good teamwork, and reminder, inSky did win SATAC last year. Harmless gets stuck in the southern group, launching AIM-120Cs. The only problem is that inSky is already turning cold by the time the missiles come off the wings from the Snake team, and that's really difficult, but that's a good dodge by Harmless against this AIM-120C shot. Meanwhile, Thrash, Yopo, and Harmless, I think one survivor from each group of the Snakes, re-coordinate with each other to form something resembling an offense. And have a look at this! Look at this! Synchronized AIM-120C shots happening again. I tell you what, these guys might have just formed 2.5 weeks ago, but they're flying like they've been doing it for years. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this team, because I think they go far, and potentially they got dealt a little bit of a bum hand when it comes to this map selection. You see, what I wish happened here was that Thrash had launched against XG as opposed to HTWJ, because I think that AIM-120C would have easily had the kinematics to potentially engage the F-18C, but you just see they run out of energy. For example, this one down here, chasing Wuwei, it's almost as if their rocket motors would burn for just a second longer. This could have been anyone's match. And the F-15's just kind of operating uncontested at super high altitude. A little bit unlucky, I think, that this AIM-120C, you see, it's the same thing. AIM-120C launched against Sugumi, when if it had been launched against MX Guardian, it would be smacking into him right now. Unlucky. Here we have another excellent bit of dodging by Thrash, realizing that there's a very close AIM-120C shot with all of the kinetic energy that could be needed to hit him. Some countermeasure usage, the missiles come in, and missile defeated. Clever maneuvering there. You can learn from that sort of behavior. Even if a missile's launched at you at close range, you got to keep fighting all the way to the very end. And here, look! Another synchronized AIM-120C launch between Yopo and Thrash against separate targets, but we can see the masters of the grind, Wuwei, HTWJ, inSky. As HTWJ and inSky are turning cold, Wuwei is turning hot, and they are just launching missiles back and forth. Thrash with another very close dodge. I mean, it doesn't really get much closer than that. Proximity fuses doing no favors for inSky here. Meanwhile, each of these planes is just unfortunately getting hunted down and picked apart one by one. Some interesting shots between these two aircraft here, both launching AIM-9s at each other, and both managing to spoof them. I think MX Guardian got unlucky that this one didn't have much of a track, obviously launched cued from the radar, and potentially just slightly outside of the range, because it would have had the energy to connect. Meanwhile, Yopo's AIM-9 doesn't quite get there. Turns hot towards the other F-15 with Shirogami Tsugumi, who looks like they fired their gun. Oh, I've done this before. You ever accidentally forget which, if you're in a Navy jet or if you're in an Air Force jet, and you you go to launch a missile and you fire your gun for a hot second instead? I'd be willing to bet. It's good to know that even the pros make this sort of bit of a foible. The F5 dogfight view does not work for pilots, only the streamer. Well, that's good. And this AIM-9 falling for the countermeasures. The AIM-9 in response, falling for the countermeasures. Yopo is down to guns only. And having had decided that there is nothing left, decides to send the plane flying. Oopsie daisies, but a good showing nonetheless. As we see, inSky has secured the win by getting their planes down on the ground. That is round one going to inSky. One more to go. Let's have a look at these landings. Shirogami Tsugumi heading in, and we can listen to the delightful noise of the nozzles of an F-15 opening and closing. Oh, look. Look at all of the hard points on the mud hen with nothing on them. If there was one thing I wish we could do on the F-15, and I don't even know if it's possible in real life, but if it were, I wish we could do it. And that would be to remove these hard points that we aren't using on the sides. I don't even care if it would make a difference in drag. I really just like it because of the look. Having these little claw grabbers on the sides of the hull do ruin the aesthetic a little bit. Give us that butter. I mean, I don't think anyone's destined to get a buttery smooth landing in a multiplayer server, as inevitably a little bit of desync will make the landings look worse than they really are. But then again, we can judge all the same, as all 6 members of inSky look like they're making their way back to home base. So what did you guys think? Did you think that that was closer than it looked, or did you think that inSky was putting on a clinic for the rookies? If you were a Snake, what do you think you'd be saying in the changing rooms as you get ready for the next fight? Is it a tactics change? A weapons change? Do they need to go and meet them at high altitude? Or is it staying down low that will beat the team? Give me your insight, chat. I want to know. How do you think Snake can turn this around as we stare down the barrel of the second round, where they'll be switching positions? You think snakes needs to raise their altitude? Their shots just didn't have the energy? That's for sure. BVR should always be high. Certainly at the start, that's for sure. That's where you get the most out of the missile. The moment these AIM-120s get down to the thicker air, poor old XG is coming back with most of the missiles they left with. I'm still going to criticize this this asymmetrical loadout. And we see a beautiful Navy landing, which is kind of on the middle of the runway. You brought 4 AIM-9Ms, and you didn't get the chance to use them. And the last one coming in is Wu Wei, preparing for a landing with no ordnance left. It seemed close at times, but I'd say inSky looked to mostly be on top throughout. Not hard to see how they won last year. Snakes are going to have to try something wacky next round. inSky does a great job of keeping potential energy. Well, the tactic that they employ the most is what's called a grinder, which is where one plane will be going in hot, will push forwards, launch a missile, and then turn cold. And then as that plane is turning cold, defending against any missile shots, a second plane overtakes it in the other direction and continues pushing. Either way, I would say that the Snakes have put on a good show, and they are not out of this yet. There is still plenty of fighting left to do. Of course, if we are somewhere like the Caucasus Mountains, then we could potentially negate the effectiveness of the F-15's extremely heavy-duty radar by getting them to come down into the mountainous terrain. I wonder if there's something to be said about staggering the altitudes of the F-16s so that you have some snakes high, some snakes low, and some snakes right down at the bottom, and making those F-15s have to handle their radar azimuth more carefully. And we have all of the inSky planes making it back. Alright. Alpha Gator, you know what to do. Or in fact, zero sum. As we stare down the barrel of round 2. And there we have it. So how are you guys feeling? I think that there is a lot of promise being shown by Snake in this contest here. I think that this map choice this map roll is a bit unfortunate for them and doesn't necessarily play to their strengths, but that is part of the entire event, is learning to manage all of the different fighting environments that you will be tackling. With that being said, I think that for a new team, their synchronized missile shots were beautiful, and they are certainly dripping with potential to be able to bring it into this next round and the future rounds of SATAC to come. They'll be switching sides now, which means that we will have inSky starting on the mainland, and the Snake pilots will be taking off from the island. This map always brings out some very, very interesting performances, because there's just nowhere to hide. Though with that having had been said, I wonder if you really wanted to get clever, if you could potentially seek some ground cover by going down to Dubai International Airport. even though this event is not about me and is about the wonderful pilots that we have taking part and participating in this event, I would like to take a moment to say thank you for everyone who has supported me throughout all of this. Thank you for the follows, Norco85. Thank you for the resubscription, Spaceman. Galag Hero, Joker, 79, X-Nikita97. Thank you all for following and engaging with me. Is this your natural voice? Yes, it is. I don't know. Should I feel self-conscious about it? Well, call sign Wombat, do you want to share some of your secrets when it comes to a team like inSky? Have you got any hot tips? Especially with the new Eagle. Exactly. I think that if this were a fashion show, though, the snakes would have it in the bag, as these beautiful skins really contribute to the atmosphere. Don't forget that this isn't the only SATAC match you'll be getting from me today. The current time is just 5 minutes away from 1600 Zulu, and there will be a second match at 1800 Zulu between 08 Escadron de Combat and Lock-On Greece Competitive, which will also be hosted by me on this channel. The team with the most drip wins your heart. Well, I think that they have got what it takes in the drip department. Meanwhile, Amex Guardian, all by their lonesome, hanging out with the civilian airliners. I'm not entirely sure that the passenger jet was the right choice for inSky, but it does at least have plenty of fuel. We beat them by just letting their Eagle fly around. Shooting the Eagle isn't going to hit because they are Mark II and they will outrun everything. We focused on the Vipers first and then attacked the Eagle. We focused... The Eagle takes a couple of minutes to be able to shoot, then come back around because of how high and fast it is. So defend its first shots and then finish the Vipers. Might be the bus home, yeah. No, you're not wrong. What's this doing here? Helicopters? Ew. We fly fighter jets here. Meanwhile, a potentially self-conscious inSky is resorting to use default camouflages. I'm sorry, even though I love the aggressor camouflage, it's totally undone by you having this atrocious asymmetrical loadout. I can't stand it! So, on inSky, we have MX Guardian in the F-15C, Shirasaki Tsugumi in the F-15E, XG in a F-18C, Andy 45 in an F-18C, and HCWJ in an F-16C. Looking good. And Yanyu also hopping into an F-16. How long for the match to start? As soon as everyone's switched on their planes and has put weapons on their wings, they will be good to go. One thing I love about the snakes is that they're color coordinated for their combat group. So the two blues leading the way. They can't change planes. Everyone should be in the same planes as they were before. They can switch pilots between the planes, but it should be the same number of planes. And of the same type. And thank you for the compliment, Kingston. I appreciate it. This will be your last chance to get yourself a drink and a snack before the battle gets going. Wasn't there only one F-18 last time? I think there was only one F-18 last time, and I'm pretty sure there is still only one F-18. I might have misspoke. No, I think Maybe there were two. Yeah, I might be misremembering. We'll have to... We'll have to double check. Got your snackies? Got your drinks? Spectacular. And you can always tell when there's an F-15 taxiing around because it just makes this noise. Can become a narrator for BBC documentaries. I wonder why the decision not to bring AIM-9Ms on the outer hardpoints of the F-15s. Does anyone know whether or not that increases significant drag? They had two F-15s. They still have two F-15s. See? Oh. Let me just check something. And here, within the Persian Gulf, we see inSky taxiing to the runway. They will be sorely disappointed, as their lack of liveries does mean that they will have difficulty finding a mate. Are you British? Oh, I am Australian in a way. Oh, there he is. Whoop. Okay. So, here's the F-15C, here's the F-15E, and I think they had 3 F-16Cs. Yeah, they did. Okay. Yes, Yanyu was meant to, or rather XG, I think, was meant to be in a F-16. They added some pounds to that thing. Yeah, so inSky was short in F-16. They swapped it for a F-18. Yeah, I meant to say F-16. This is a lot to keep track of. How are our snakes doing? How are our snakes? Looking good, sitting pretty. No doubt that they haven't changed their airframes. These beautiful planes are looking exactly how they should. Me before and after Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's true. Okay, I think we have everything sorted out now. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 F-16s, an F-15, an F-15E, and an F-18. Perfect. Well, yes, it can be a bit confusing because I am Australian, but I live in the UK. I look like a Soviet-era fighter jet. I'm very confused about what I am. Which team do you think is going to win? I think it depends entirely on how Snake goes. Alright, Snakes are ready. And inSky should shortly follow, with Wu Wei coming along. No wonder you could recognize the accent, just couldn't confirm it. Well, that's the tricky thing, is that my Australian accent has suffered over the years. Too many years of spending time online talking to Americans and all that sort of thing. And then too much time in the theater. Getting my voice all weird. So who knows what I sound like. Well, we watched inSky take off last time, so let's watch this next. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go. All right. Off they go. The Blues lead the way for the Snakes. One thing I've never seen happen in SATAC so far is a takeoff mishap. Your slang needs some heavy work. Yeah. It sneaks out sometimes. Oh, a little bit of a show-off happening here. Hopefully you don't find yourself one flare short at the end. But congratulations on competing so well, Snake Team. You guys have been an absolute joy to watch, and good luck in round 2. And how are you going, chat? How are you enjoying SATAC so far? We've had all kinds of matches. I hope the casting has been enjoyable as well. I know that it's been me, AlphaGator, and we've had Pixel as well on YouTube. I think this year the production's been good fun, and I've had lots of fun doing it for you. I hope you've had as much fun as I have had watching. Alright, real-time telemetry is online, so we can keep up to date with everything we miss. The F-16s separating out. We have Mufat and Harmless, the blue group, leading the way and climbing up to altitude, opting for a triple bag setup instead of the jammers. We have black group separating out. These guys brought their jamming pods and beginning to climb to altitude. Meanwhile, over in the inSky department, we have Yanyu and HCWJ leading the way in the F-16s, not after burning and climbing hard just yet. I mean, if we get an all-Australian team in SATAC, maybe I can bump it up a bit and be like, "G'day, g'day, g'day. Don't you worry about these snakes. I can wrangle them like no trouble. Just make sure you check your boots before you put them on in the morning. You know what I'm saying?" Anyway, we've got a real drongo of a match heading up over here. Flying over the Persian Gulf, we've got two teams. Both facing off. We've got the veterans going after the newcomers. But so far, so good. It could be anyone's match. I'll tell you what, all these sharp edges on this plane makes it look like it could hurt someone. Flying chooks. You really like the liveries for Snake? Me too. I love this logo. This is gorgeous. I should ask them who did this for them because it looks fantastic. Almost looks like a 3D render that they had someone do for them. Remind me in the interviews to ask. Style points. Remember, SATAC is an apolitical organisation which is not centred around political ideology or beliefs or anything like that. It's about playing DCS and having fun. And I think so long as you're here having a good time, and all the participants are here having a good time, then that's what it's all about. Snakes on a plane. Well, if you had a look at the some of the Discord profile pictures for inSky, no, rather for Snakes, you would see that Snakes on a plane is very much their MO. Dress to impress. Well, exactly. You dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And Harmless is proceeding through 46,000 feet. Take that, flat earthers. You can see the curvature from up here. Passing 48,000 feet. How high does Harmless actually feel like going today? The battle area is contested. Harmless and Mufat are leading the charge. inSky has only just entered the battle area and is not as high or as fast as either of these guys. Current separation is 93 nautical miles. MX Guardian in the F-15C going north and the F-15E going south, orbiting around the point. And here we see the chubby boy, the big old F-15, the threat that the snakes are going to have to deal with, charging a course through the thin air. Does feel a little bit like Ace Combat, doesn't it? This is a clear tactics change from the snakes. They didn't approach from nearly as higher altitude this time. Mufat comfortably sitting at 41,000 feet. And sitting at a comfortable high speed, currently 630 knots. Okay, separation is currently 60 nautical miles, 55 nautical miles. inSky not as close a formation as they were last time. MX Guardian, you're right, taking the northern route and potentially beginning the turn in to go hot. There go the wing bags. We are running on internal fuel, and this is when we'll see the speed really pick up. That was a bit of a cool shot. Harmless leading the charge, 36,000 feet with the afterburners on, wing tank still on. Looking for a fight. They want to clean up the little birds before they deal with the big ones. We've had it on good authority that that's how you beat inSky. Hirosaki Tsugumi launching an AIM-120C from 51,000 feet. This missile is going to go into low Earth orbit, passing 74,000 feet, passing 80,000 feet, passing 83,000 feet, 85. Will it make it to 90? 88,000 feet, 89,000 feet. Not quite to 90,000 feet. This AIM-120C looking like it's heading for... Oh, please don't let Alves get bushwhacked again. And another long-range AIM-120C shot passing 44,000 feet towards the group. And missiles just rippling off the wings. MX Guardian using all 3 of 4 AIM-120Cs in the opening engagement. Harmless potentially has a missile coming in. Let's hope that this doesn't connect. Meanwhile, the southern missile is still progressing on its lofty path, still at 63,000 feet, and it does have some inkling of a track. This missile here, Snake is aware of it, and looks like they're pulling it down into the thicker air. AIM-120C from Alves looking for revenge. This AIM-120C has track and speed, but who's it going for? That's the question. The AIM-120C fired upon Harmless, well and truly out of energy now, impotently looking at Alves going to... Oh, Jesus, did you see that at the bottom of the frame? That missed by centimeters. Thrash launching against HTWJ. The F-15 scoring no kills this time. HTWJ realizing that things haven't quite gone to plan in the opening and turning cold as there is an AIM-120C coming in for revenge. 3 AIM-120Cs launched from the F-15C and nothing to show for it. An AIM-120C heading for Wu Wei. Will they get a kill on the board with this? It's got speed, but has it got track? Wu Wei, I think, turning cold and fast. Excellent performance. We are seeing Snake transformed into a new team here. Yupo launching an AIM-120C at high altitude, passing 40,000 feet, the secondary cloud layer, as it heads on an intercept course towards Shirogami Tsugumi, who has launched AIM-120C in response and is turning very cold, realizing now that they've only got 1 AIM-120C left and need to get some kills with those weapons before these F-15s get turned into glorified heat-seeker buses. This AIM-120C heading in for Yupo, who will be well aware of it. You can see it just off the nose on the left here. Yupo turning very cold. And this missile's running out of speed and quick. A transformed Snake team, not messing around. Where's the F-15C? At nearly 50,000 feet, you've only got AIM-1, AIM-120 left. You're leaving your team out to dry as Thrash launches on Yanyu. From 12 nautical miles, Yanyu potentially not reacting fast enough. Still got the wing bags on. This AIM-120C coming with speed and intent towards Yanyu. But did it get spoofed into the water? Yes, it looks like it. An AIM-120C from late at 42,000 feet launched potentially towards... I'm not sure who. An AIM-7 coming off the wings. Really just a noisemaker to try and distract the team. Wu Wei launching against Thrash. Or potentially Alves, depending. Looks like it might be Thrash. Thrash is turning ice cold. Bring it down into that thicker air to get that missile to drop all of its speed. No kills on the board for either team so far. The F-15s thus far proving ineffective against a transformed Snake team. His missiles are dotting the sky, but none of them seem to have the energy necessary. Alves, are you going to get hit here? Oh my goodness, okay, Alves launches an AIM-120C from 30,000 feet towards the hostile group. AIM-120C heading towards Mufat, who should well and truly have the speed and angels to deal with a threat like that. An AIM-120C going in, you've only got the ground clutter to save you. Are we going to see inSky get dealt a blow here? Bringing it into the thicker air. It's going to miss by inches. No dice. Andy, 45, proceeding in hot. AIM-7Ps just dudding through the air. Within spitting distance. We'll see a launch here any second. Andy's chasing down Thrash. Harmless, pushing towards Yanyu. All of inSky just low and slow at the moment. An AIM-7P off the rails from Andy. Looks like there's nothing guiding it. Meanwhile, an AIM-120C coming in response. This is going to be difficult to dodge. Trying to spoof it with the ground clutter. Pulling a couple of shapes. Missile's losing speed. And is not going to be able to catch up. AIM-120C is heading in towards Harmless. This missile is slowing down, though, and will be fairly easy to evade. We are just in a grinder here at the moment. Who still has missiles? An AIM-120C coming in at relatively short range towards Yanyu. Who's going to have to turn cold. Is it enough? Looks like inSky isn't out of luck yet as that missile loses track. No kills. Another AIM-120C coming in towards HTWJ. Two AIM-120Cs coming in towards HTWJ. Both of which have some speed. Looks like this one has fallen for the ground clutter, but will the second one be able to handle it? MX Guardian flanking around in the north with no AIM-120Cs left, a glorified heat-seeker machine. Andy, 45, comes in to cover off HTWJ, who's fully defensive. This missile launched, I think, against Thrash, who is turning cold and just has to throw some shapes to spoof that missile. Two more AIM-120Cs heading towards this cluster of inSky pilots. This missile looking like it may have the potential, but the maneuvering from inSky is just bleeding all of the speed. We'll be getting merges here in no time at all. MX Guardian, Heat Seekers only, heading in towards the danger zone, and is probably going to dive down and try and make something happen with 2 AIM-9Ms. Shirasaki Sugumi also down to AIM-9Ms, who has still got missiles. An AIM-9M off the wings from MX Guardian heading towards Welpo, and looks like it's gone stupid. Another radar-guided mistake. Meanwhile, we have a missile in exchange, and Snake gets their first kill in SATAC. An excellent shot as another one comes in against Wu Wei. 2 kills for Snake. Snake is now 2 up. An AIM-120C towards late impacts. It is now 5v4. An AIM-120C coming in at high speed towards Yanyu. Yanyu's going to have to pull some shapes to get away with this, but I think has the potential to get away from it as one of his burning comrades is plummeting out of the sky. inSky is not having as much of a cakewalk with all of this as they would have liked. In fact, inSky lost another one, which we will have to catch on the TAC view, an AIM-120C from Andy45 heading in towards Thrash, which this will be difficult to get away from. Come on, Thrash. Come on, Thrash. It connects. AIM-120C fired in response. This one with plenty of energy, but is it going to go for the ground clutter? It is. Andy getting lucky there. It is 4v3. An AIM-120C launched against Mufat, who is potentially at too higher altitude, but is pulling some shapes to get away. And Alves is going for the merge. With only AIM-9Ms, you might want to lose those wing bags. AIM-9 off the wing. But he gets one in exchange. Bad luck. And this one has been fooled by the countermeasures. It is 2v2. Mufat with only AIM-9Ms. HTWJ with only AIM-9Ms. My mistake, it is 2v3. One AIM-120C coming in towards Mufat. That is going to be very, very difficult to escape from. Don't tell me. Oh, he pulls it off! He gets away from it. Unbelievable dodge. But his northern friend goes down. We'll check that in the TAC view. Mufat versus 3 with only AIM-9s. At least one of these is going to have to be a guns kill. He's got a fighter on his 6 and one on his 12. Surrounded on all sides, Mufat has an oh my god, an AIM-120C comes within spitting distance but doesn't connect. What you are watching is a masterpiece of flying as they merge. Gunfire coming off the wings. It's down to guns. And no. Mufat runs out of luck as the inSky crew, with nothing left, is left bloodied, battered, and bruised. Has anyone got a missile left? Andy45 with 2 AIM-9Ms is the arsenal of inSky. Unbelievable. Well, talk about changing over the course of just 1 minute. The snake that we saw in round 1 was not the snake that we saw in round 2, that's for sure. Let's go have a look at the TAC view. Well, they must have been paying attention, because this time these F-15s came in with a vengeance. I'll just type in chat. Once landed, can you come into first TVO Discord for interview? And I'll let We'll get some interviews going on. Oh, how? Leteta Jalipo, I'm assuming that you will be the eponymous... Let's see. Is this you up here? Your team did so good. You guys, oh my goodness, talk about a transformation. The initial launches from inSky, these AIM-120 launches coming in well synchronized, but not standing a chance because Snake knew they were coming and were already cold. These missiles just not standing a chance. Dealing with the F-15 threat, I mean, let's see if we can see it. Yeah. MX Guardian coming along here and launching 3 of his AIM-120Cs with just absolutely nothing to show for it. Missiles coming off the wings, and these targets are just never going to get hit by these missiles. Meanwhile, the central group of inSky just look like they're a disorganized rabble. Meanwhile, Thrash and all of the rest of the Snake team are all over it. They're grinding. They've got everything they need. Look at these missile shots. All of them just missing by inches. Let's see if we can find some of the kills that we missed. Okay, so here's one that we didn't get. So Andy 45 and Thrash ended up in a bit of a merge situation here. Looks like Thrash saw an opportunity to turn in and launch, but sadly second-guessed themselves. Had to go for the notch, but looks like turned a little bit too cold. And this AIM-120C has just got the speed to connect. Meanwhile, in the southern area here, we see Yupo come in, and yeah, this is where Yupo goes down. Caught it slightly too high in altitude. Yanyu still with AIM-120Cs to go. That notch doesn't quite work out. And we see Mufat just absolutely in the mix here. Things looking rough. Well, shall we go and speak to one of the members of the Snake team who have demonstrated themselves wonderfully? Hello, is this Late?
Yes. Hello, hello.
Hello, Late. Please let me say congratulations to Snake for their SATAC debut against possibly one of the trickiest opponents you could ever hope to get in round 1. How are you guys feeling?
I mean, first round, not much we knew about these guys and didn't really know what they're gonna fly, and the F-15s really surprised us. But on the second round we tried to push the middle guys harder and got some kills from there. Second round was very nice.
I think we could all agree that the team we saw in round 1 versus the team we saw in round 2, it was like night and day. The amount of change in tactics and how well it worked was just amazing. When you guys had that small break between rounds 1 and 2, what were you saying to each other? You knew the F-15s were coming, and you said, well, what are we going to do about them?
Well, we planned that we are gonna pre-notch the F-15 so they can shoot their long-range missiles into emptiness. And apparently that worked pretty well in the beginning, and then we just started to do the grinder stuff. And it worked quite well until the end. Of course, we still need to work on our skills and stuff like that so we can take on these guys later on as well.
Yes, well, we're just having a look at the TAC view now, and the notching at the start of the round just completely fooled, I think, 6 separate AIM-120C launches from the F-15s that just found nothing, and they were flying around there almost useless. I think the tactics change worked perfectly. So, you guys are fresh and new. You came off a win yesterday in another competition, and now you're in SATAC. How are you feeling about it? What do you think will need to be worked on when it comes to the later stages of the engagement where things get a bit closer and messier?
I think our teamwork is working very well in the start of the game and beginning of match. We have good comms and stuff like that. But what we need to work on is the later on gaming. So when things start get messy and maybe one of two or of guys die, then we need to regroup and start practicing those things what we do with 4 guys against 6 guys or something like that. And the late game is still something that we need to practice a lot. We haven't really had time to practice or know about the late game tactics a lot, so there's something we need to practice on. But the early game is still, I think that's the strongest part where we can, where we do pretty well. But then the mid game and late game.
You guys have existed as a competitive team for about 2.5 weeks now, and you've already got yourselves some beautiful liveries, and I think the entire chat was very excited about the look of your aircraft, and we were wondering who designed the logo.
Okay, so the liveries are designed by Triple, so Mufat, who was flying in the F-16 there, and Trash designed the tail logo.
I see.
Yes.
Triple, a friend of the stream. No worries.
Yes.
Oh, terrific. Well, you guys have demonstrated yourselves beautifully, and I think you should be very proud of how that entire engagement went. And I think you've got 3 separate competitions on the go, and I think you're fighting again later on today.
Yes, we are in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. We have ACC match against OTP, so another not so easy match to go against. Pretty veteran team right there, so let's see how we do against these guys, but little bit different rules as well, so let's see how it goes.
And the decision to fly entirely F-16s in an engagement where it's BVR like this and there's no terrain to hide around, do you find yourselves wishing that you could have brought something else?
Let's say that maybe in the future when the F-15E gets the data link and maybe then we might be bringing F-15s as well in the future, but for now I think we are most of our pilots are most used to the F-16 fighting, and I think that's where our pilots are very good at, so maybe in the future F-15 as well, but other than that I think the 6 F-16s work pretty well this time.
Amazing. Well, that's fantastic. I'm seeing that the first of the inSky team are beginning to land, and if we're lucky we might be able to grab one of them to come and have a hello with us and you guys can chat for a little minute. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to shout out anyone or would like to just say anything to the viewers, feel free to. The stage is yours.
Well, I don't know. I'm reading the chat right here. Yes, Jack. Snake12 right here. Finnish guy. I think you can recognize the accent here.
Oh, it's terrific. In fact, with the country flags, it looks like you've got one from every corner of the earth.
Yeah, we have pilots from pretty much. Well, we are international squads and we have known each other for quite a while. So it's not many new guys here in the squadron. Let's say we have played some War Thunder years back and all kind of other games as well together. And now we started to do some competitive DCS flying, and it's really fun.
Oh, you guys have done beautifully, I think. And how did you find each other?
Let's say me and Juoppo, we go back in time in the War Thunder times. I think we started to play together somewhere around 2015 or something like that. And Trash and Triple came somewhere along the way, and other guys as well. But he's the one I have known longest for now. And actually, we are in the same university in Finland as well, and we have seen each other a few times as well. So, but it's pretty nice group to fly with. Funny guys, nice dudes.
Yeah, no, in fact, it's wonderful to see everyone just having fun and getting along. I'm trying to see if I can convince inSky, of course, being a Chinese team as well, can occasionally be a bit tricky to get a hold of. So
Yeah,
let's see if I can find them. All right, chat. If anyone from inSky is watching and would like to come and have a chat, the last three remaining, HTWJ, Yanyu, and Andy45, celebrating a hard-earned victory, I think, with so few weapons left on their wings. Let's see. And here we go. 1969, how are you going?
Yeah, good. Give me 1 second, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, good. Hello, Nate.
Well,
Hello.
congratulations, inSky, for cinching the victory. And we have late from Snake as well. How did you guys find it? That was a pretty tough match in the second round.
Yeah, second round, we didn't expect that to go like this because, well, you can see like the two F-15s launch a lot of missiles, but they are hitting nothing. I don't think. Wait. Just wondering. During the second round, does any of our F-15s get a kill? Because I didn't.
I think the F-15s launched all of their AIM-120s and didn't hit anything. And then
I'm not saying the emblems like the Sidewinders. Did any of them hit?
Let me quickly check the TAC view, but I don't think so. But yes, it was obvious that there had been a tactics change, and the Snakes came along with some serious firepower. Did it get you worried a little bit at the end with how things were shaping out? Because it got pretty close.
Yeah, that was close. So yeah, we didn't expect that go change. We were expecting them to like push again, like in around 30k, 40k ish, and yeah, we didn't expect the change. Not good job changing the attack. That really caught us off guard. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just having a look at the attack view.
You guys were playing really well.
Yeah, well played.
Well, the victors of last year, but there's plenty of new blood in the competition. I'm just having a look at the TAC view now, and it doesn't look like the F-15s found anything in the second round, unfortunately. They fought their hardest, but no luck this time. And this map, I mean, I think this map is a very tricky one. How are both of you guys feeling with almost no terrain to hide behind?
Well, for me, I don't. It doesn't really matter for me because I'm a F-15. I don't fly in the terrains anyway. For our F-16 and Hornet, not much difference, I would say, but we need to try. We need to watch out not to like crash into the water.
Well, it's easy to do, for sure, especially when you can't really tell how high you are. Well,
sometimes during the middle of fight, you're too focused. You might make a mistake between the sky and the water, I have to say.
Yeah, I've done it before. Well, if there's anything you guys would like to say to each other, please go ahead. And for inSky, if there's any shout-outs you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say before we close up this battle for today, go ahead.
Not much to say. Thanks, Snake. Good fight. Wish you all the best during your match in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Not too much to say here. Great flying, boys, and I hope we can fight in the future as well.
Yeah, maybe we can. Maybe we can meet each other in the what's the second stage after
The
the
semi-finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. I'd love to watch that. Okay, guys. Well, I'll leave you to it. Good luck with your match later on today, Snake and inSky. Thank you very much for a wonderful performance. I hope that both of you enjoy the rest of the competition, and I look forward to seeing how the rest of the matches go for your teams. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
See you guys later.
All right. See you.
See you. Take care. Bye.
All right, guys, that's as far as we go today. Thank you very much to all of the participants for taking a bit of time to talk with me. In about an hour and 15, in fact, let me just double check that that's correct. Yes, in an hour and 15 minutes, we will have 08 Esquadron de Combat versus Lock-On Greece Competitive on my channel. We're going to close the book on inSky versus Snake, a terrific fight, and look forward to seeing you in just over an hour. All right, guys. Thank you for all of the follows and support for me. Thank you for the follows Dust Flash, Electrify, Captain Greek, Kater123, Connor. I'm going to shut down the stream for now, get everything ready for the next match, and I will see you there. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys later.